videos a week late again because it's baby goat season. It came early this year thanks to my bucks escaping from their pen in the first week of November. Anyways, we rectified that situation. We haven't gotten out since. But I'll be bringing you the video soon showing you all the baby goats and some of the issues we had with them and so on. Also, I've been working a job salvaging a business that closed, so I'll be showing you some of the stuff I got from there. But tonight I want to teach you guys how to use your goats to clear bush and clear land. And then later I'm going to play a cool song from the early 70s, Temptation Eyes by the Grassroots. Alright, let's go. Alright, so I want to talk to you guys about using goats to clear bush. Now, when you do that, the best way to do it is to surround the area with an electric fence. I have another video where I show how to install that and how to set that up. And another thing that you have to do before you put the goats in anywhere is you gotta make sure that there's no toxic plants or toxic substances in there that they could eat and get sick. So the best way to do that with the plants is to just do an internet search and type in plants toxic to goats or plants poisonous to goats, and then you'll find a list. There's one of the bigger channels, not a channel, but it's a website that teaches how to look after goats. I forget what it's called, but they have a really good list of plants that are toxic to goats. And then what you do is you type each name of the plant into the search and then hit images, and then you look at pictures of the plants, and that way you can tell if there's any of those plants in your area, because they're not all native to every place. Like, I'm in southwestern Canada, so we don't really have all that many toxic plants here for goats. It's not that big of a deal unless there's rhododendrons or laurel bushes, azaleas. You know, that people plant those, and sometimes the seeds get away and they'll start to grow wild. I found a couple of those plants growing in my place and had to dig them out. But if you've got a forest, there's one plant that they do have in my area, not in this exact area, but if you go 50 or 100 miles north of here, it's called bracken fern, and it can be toxic to goats. Now, I've already had the goats over on this section of the property here, and you can see what a nice job they do. Look, they ate all of this right down to the ground. There's hardly anything left here. There's, you know, just a little bit of scruffy grass left. And when they started, it looked, you know, like that. It was 6 foot high with bush and with blackberries, and this area along here, right where I'm pointing in the middle here, this is where I had the electric fence set up, and I took it down and I moved it farther up that way. If you look real carefully by that, you can see where that white goat is, just on the other side of her. You can see the yellow ribbons on the wire there. So we're going to clear this whole area out because they want to clean up this part of their property. So once we get rid of all the bush, then you can see everything that's in here, and you can clean the place up. So, oh, hello Angel. But it does work very well. Clearing brush with goats works very well. Who's this little sweetheart right here? Did you have enough to eat already? So even these little ones can eat quite a bit of grass. These are 4 months old. But you can see the difference. You see how much they ate here. They just cleared this right out, right down to the dirt. You can see I got a pail of water there for them. And if you're gonna leave the goats in the place, you have to set up shelter for them, and you've got to bring grain every day for your does. Bucks don't necessarily need grain. And you should put some hay too, because even though they've got so much to eat, they still like to have hay. It helps settle out their stomach, because sometimes when they eat bush and fresh leaves and stuff, they'll get diarrhea, and you don't really want them to have diarrhea as a chronic condition. So if you give them hay, like nice dry hay, then that'll help balance out their stomach. You can also put a dish of trace minerals and another dish of baking soda for them too, because sometimes they eat so much that they start to get bloated. And if they start bloating, they'll lick the baking soda, and that helps clear the gas out of their stomach, because the bloating is just too much gas in their stomach and they can't burp it up fast enough. So that's always a good thing to have for them. And another thing that you have to be concerned with is predators. If you've got goats in a place that's wild bush, it could be coyotes, it could be cougars, it could be bears. And most of the time the electric fence will stop them, but you can't guarantee that. So if you've got a livestock guardian dog, put them in there with the goats. Let them stay in here with the goats if you're not going to be watching them all the time. But this particular clearing job is on my neighbor's property, so I only let them in here in the afternoon, and for like 5-6 hours, whatever, till they've had enough. And it takes longer to clear a land when you do it that way, but if you left them in here 24 hours a day, they'd clear the place like 4 times faster than what they will when I'm just letting them in here during the afternoons and then taking them back to the barn for the evening. But they sure do a nice job. They'll eat this right down. All this stuff will be gone. There'll just be sticks left. And this is almost October now, so you can see the stuff is really drying out here, because we got really dry summer this year, which is really great. See them going to town, and a big pile of dirt there that's overgrown, lots of old stumps and pieces of wood and miscellaneous. Oh, somebody found some old roofing metal or something that sounded like. But when they get done, this whole thing will be cleared right out, and I'll show you what it looks like, and you'll be amazed, and you'll just be amazed at what a great job they do. And you know, this is like very environmentally friendly, because they poop and they fertilize as they go, and nothing can come out of a goat that's toxic. You know, goats have parasites, and they poop out the parasites and the eggs from the parasites. But they only affect goats. They won't affect other animals. They won't affect people. I mean, you can, don't put your hands in your mouth if you've been handling a goat's feces, but it's not going to make you sick. So this land's never had goats on it, so they're not going to pick up any parasites or anything that's going to make them sick here either, which is really good. Because sometimes you get goats on land for too long, and the parasite level builds up in the soil to the point where you can't get rid of it. You're treating your goats for worms like several times a year. The weaker goats just aren't surviving because the parasites are stronger than the goat's system is to deal with them. But when you have a nice place like this that's never had goats in it, if you can leave your goats in here, like goats could live in here for probably 2 or 3 years and not have any parasite issues. Even these little goats, they like to eat. They're learning how to eat the leaves and stuff. The baby goats are 4 months old, so they've already learned how to eat the leaves and stuff. Doing a great job. Isn't that right, Ginger? Are you doing a great job, Ginger? Are you having fun, Ginger? See, look, she's just cleaning right up there. She'd like to eat that dry grass. There's hardly anything left there. And look, she's eating the leaves, all the leaves that fall off the trees. Just having a great time. Isn't that right, Brownie? Are you having fun, Brownie? Brownie's 10 years old now. You having fun, Brownie? Everybody wants to see what you look like. See, we love you. You're doing a good job. Take care of all these ladies. Now, when you put up your electric fence, you want to make sure that there's no grass underneath that's growing up high enough that's going to touch the bottom wire. And I like to put those streamers on there, or caution tape, so the goats can see it and people can see it and not touch it. You'll need a way to transport your goats to the property to be cleared. I have this old horse trailer. There's all kinds of stuff piled around it because I don't use it very often, but this is ideal. You can get probably 20-25 goats in here. If you got more goats than that, get a bigger trailer or make multiple trips. So here's the difference after the goats are done clearing an area. Like, they've been in here for a couple weeks for a few hours a day, and look, they've eaten this right down to dirt and dead grass and sticks. And this is what it looked like before they started. So we're going to have them in this area next. And here's what it looks like on September 20th. Now, I've only had the goats in there about 4 or 5 hours a day because I'm not here all the time. And there's a few days when they weren't in there. But you could imagine if you put them in here 24 hours a day, from September 2nd to September 20th, to clear this is about probably an acre and a quarter of land they cleared in just a couple of weeks. But if they were in there 24 hours a day, they could probably clear this whole thing in less than a week. Alright, so here's what it looks like. This section here where they started, and we've relocated the fence farther back on the property, already showing you that part. But you can see that this blackberry stuff here, they eat pretty much all the live blackberries, but they won't eat the heavy stalks. So you gotta still have to pull them out, or go with a machete or whatever, or pull it up with an excavator, or whatever it is you're gonna do, or a brush hog. But if you leave this alone now, it'll grow back, and then you put them back in here next year, and it won't be as thick, it'll be less. And if you do it a year after that, there'll be even less blackberries. And by about the 4th year, there probably won't be any blackberries in here at all. It'll just be like grass growing, and various other plants that grow. And because for some reason, when the goats eat the blackberries like this, it really makes it hard for them to recover. So they can only do it for so long, and that's the end of them. Well, we're about on October 5th now, and as you can see, the goats have eaten pretty much everything green. All the sticks and dirt left now, and that green stuff here, that's just moss. And of course, they don't eat the heavy stalks of the blackberries. But as you can see, they do a nice job. Now we can see all the stuff that needs to be cleaned up out of this property. If you want to take it to the next level, what you can do is you can put hogs in here now. The hogs will come in here and they'll root through all the dirt, and they'll eat the roots, and they'll even knock down a lot of these little trees. So they'll be chewing on the roots and stuff, and they'll chew the roots on the big trees too if you leave them in here long enough. So if any of you guys have any videos on using hogs to clear land, I'd love to see it. But anyways, there you go, guys. If you want to use goats to clear your land, this is what you're going to be faced with. They do a heck of a nice job.
She's got something that moves my soul, and she knows I'd love to love her, but she lets me down every time, can't make her mine. There's no one's lover tonight. With me she'll be so inviting. I want her all for myself. Whoa, temptation eyes looking through my mind, my soul. Temptation eyes, you got to love me tonight. Love me, baby, tonight. While It's just a ride, it's never ending tonight. With me she'll be so exciting. I got her all for myself, whoa. Temptation eyes looking through my mind, my soul. Temptation eyes, you got to love me tonight. Tonight with me she'll be so exciting. I got her all for myself, whoa. Temptation eyes looking through my mind, my soul. Temptation eyes, you got to love me tonight. Temptation eyes looking through my mind, my soul. Temptation eyes, you got to love me tonight. Temptation eyes looking through my mind, my soul. Temptation eyes, you got to love me tonight. Love me, baby, tonight. Love me tonight. Alright, there you have it. Temptation Eyes by the Grassroots. Thanks for joining me tonight, and we'll see you all next time. Take care.